the return on saving. And there is a pension that comes from a second type of investment, the return on investment in human capital or saving in the youngs, right? So the model says that the part of your pensions that are coming from labor income should be proportional to your investment in human capital of those that are now earning labor income. Okay? Now think a moment. Think now at the problem from the point of view of portfolio theory. Forget about overlapping generation. Should you live in a world in which markets are perfect? That is, you can invest safely in the sense with clear contracts that, the investment may be risky, but you can invest in all kinds of assets. And you want to invest in assets to pay for your retirement. What is it you do? You're going to diversify your portfolio and invest in all kinds of factors that can be accumulated and will pay off next period when you're old. So the optimal portfolio is a portfolio composed of all the assets that pay off tomorrow in form of GNP. That includes human capital. Right? So if human capital was tradable in any form and insurable in any form and turned into an asset, you would like to invest not just in real estate and land and equities and corporate bonds and public debt, you also would like to invest in human capital. You would like to have a claim on future labor income because in fact we know that there is a degree of insurance between labor and capital income. They're not positively correlated, they tend to be either zero or negatively correlated. And so from the point of view of the portfolio, the optimal portfolio is a portfolio that includes everything. In this model, in fact, where there's not even uncertainty, that's exactly what these people do. Right? They invest in all the assets. A little bit on capital, K, a little bit on capital, H. Because in fact they have no uncertainty, they invest equally. Right? So that's what the model suggests. So the model suggests that in reality your pension should be proportional not to your Social Security contribution, but to this. Actually, to the share of this that goes to finance the education of the young, right? You see? So what the model says is something a lot more subtle. It says, wait a second. If what you call pension is retirement income from human capital of the other, and it is allocated to you because you invested in them, right? Then what you invested in them is what you contributed to make them accumulate human capital. You could have done it on the market if there was market by lending directly to them. You go to the smart daughter of your sister, she's very smart, your son is dumb, the daughter of your sister is very smart, you go to her and say, I'll send you to the MIT engineering department, and you become a good engineer, and I invest in that, and then you pay me off. Right? Good, you can do that privately with the daughter of your sister. Right? Lacking that, you can do through the public system. You say, I pay taxes to send people to high school, university, blah, blah, blah. But I can do it without paying taxes. I can do it by lending to the government and issue educational bonds, invest them in education, and pay back an interest rate. But point is that in general, the model suggests that the pension you receive are not proportional to your Social Security contribution. They're proportional to how much you invested in the education of the generation that is now working. That's the efficient way of computing. So what are the Social Security contributions? What are the social security contributions doing here in the budget constraint of the middle age? The social security contribution are there because you yourself, as a middle age, borrowed from the previous old or from the previous middle age. And now you have to pay back your debt. And what's your debt? Well, it's proportional to how much you borrowed. So when you look at the model that way, you see it inverts the relation. It says, look, 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 look. What we have out there, public financing of education and public pension, it's not so far from what happens in an efficient world without government, but what's screwed up is the criteria with which the flows are computed. The social security contribution should be proportional to the amount we borrowed to get educated. The pension we receive should be proportional to how much we lent to those that had to be educated and are now working for us. Do you see it or do you see not? Right? And in fact, I will stop here, but if you try working out the welfare system with this criteria, you see that they actually have a lot of efficiency property. And they're very resilient to demographic and technological shocks. And notice that it's not an impossible thing. It's very interesting. It's a perfectly possible thing to do. It's just that the way we set up our system doesn't work that way, and now it's kind of complicated to reform it. And in fact, you can also show that because of that, there is a gigantic amount of intergenerational transfer taking place in countries like this. Because what's happening is the pensions that are being paid are completely out of proportion with the amount of investment in human capital of the young generation. It's a lot more. And instead, the social security contribution being paid are a lot more than the investment in human capital that people have received. Okay? And that amounts to a gigantic transfer from the middle age, 30, 20, 40-year-old to the old people, 60, 65, 70, 80, 90, right, are receiving enormously more of what they have invested. And people are now paying a lot more than what they have received and will receive. Okay? And you can do the computation using this. All right. I think I stop here today for a little survey of overlapping generation in one day. I think that's enough. But let's see, we have some time, so if you have questions, we'll take up the questions. We open the window because I'm dying. I'm going to pass it over. No questions?